there?
Okay, so Cady, I'm currently a senior lecturer at the University of Gloucestershire. So I head up academic course leader for the course Masters in Sports Therapy, but I also teach on the undergraduate programme, and I've been teaching for since 2003, I think. Kind of fell into teaching because initially, when all I ever wanted to do was, before that, it was well, from the age of 11 was to work for Swindon Town Football Club.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's a big goal, but that was my goal at the age of 11. So before that, I wanted to work for Disney, so I was going to draw Disney characters.
Okay.
Because my background is kind of good arts and painting. But then my dad took me to the playoff final. Yeah. And the guy ran on the pitch, and I turned around to my dad and went, "That's what I want to do." And it was just that instant.
Really?
Yeah. So it's really weird. So ever since then, being a massive Swindon fan, like huge Swindon fan, I used to have one wall decorated with Swindon Town posters, the other wall decorated with Man United. Used to watch Serie A on Sunday mornings, and Sunday football, and then Monday evening football, and then that was all I ever wanted to do. Yeah. It was really weird.
Wow, there you go. And you did it?
Yeah, so it was weird because when I went to university, so initially sports therapy wasn't around, so I applied for physio, and again, I'm not particularly, because I'm not particularly academic with regards to sciences, and didn't do so well, and found a place on the sports therapy, which fell into really. That was at North London, and they offered me a place, and it just seemed exactly what I was looking for, because I never really wanted to work in the NHS or work in respiratory or neurology. I always wanted to work in sport, and went onto the course and met a couple of my lecturers. One of them, Professor Graham Smith, who used to run Lilleshall. He's been to the Olympics. He's a childhood physio. He's also worked for Valsgate Rangers, and he turned around and he said, "He goes, you're not working football." And I'm one of those people that if somebody says I can't do anything, I'll try as much as I can to try and do it. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to do. And then I signed my full-time contract in 2010, I think, 2010. So but I'd been at Swindon for about 6 years previous towards that.
Doing bits and pieces?
Bits and pieces, really. So it was weird, really, because I graduated in 99 and then kind of got an office job because nobody knew who I was, nobody knew what I was doing, I was trying to build. So I graduated and then kind of worked in rugby, and then worked county rugby, and then got involved with the Swindon Lynx, which are now the Wildcats, and then fell in love with ice hockey. Yeah. It's an amazing sport and just amazing people. And then within about a year I got the England job, and then I was working full time at Nationwide doing 9 to 5. Then in the evenings I'd run my clinic to try and build my name. That was based at the Link Centre. And then on a Saturday I'd get up and run the clinic, then I'd go and do a rugby game, and then I'd go back straight and do the ice hockey. No, that was just county. So it was, I used to work in Swindon. The England was ice hockey. Right. Okay. Yeah. and then on the Sunday I used to do the rugby, and I did that for about a couple of years.
Wow. God, that's the thing with this sort of thing, when it's fairly, I think in terms of professional sport, when you talk about the backroom staff, it's coaching, and then there's like a sports science department. Yeah. But you were still working full time. Yeah. So I remember a similar thing, a story I think I've told before, where I was talking back and forth with Middlesbrough Football Club, and the idea was to go and move there in order to work for them in their sports science department, so testing athletes and that kind of thing. And all set, I was ready to go, and they had 4 games left of the Premier League season. They got relegated, and the whole sports science department was gone. Yeah. And it just seems that it's only at the very top level. So my question every time is, how does the teams get up and stay at the top level without that finance, without the structure they need to do that? And it's especially in sports like rugby, ice hockey, where there's probably less money. Yeah. It's got to be hard for you as a practitioner to be able to work a week, then go and do that on a weekend or whatever, and put the requisite study in that you need.
Yes, but no, because I'm in a fortunate position where I love what I do. So I I've always been told I work too much, which has probably been the right thing, but that's all I've ever known. So since I've graduated, I've always, known that it was never going to fall in my lap. So
Yeah.
I'd always have to work really hard and extra hard to probably get into football, because there weren't really any women working in football at the time. And I enjoy what I do, and now I'm in a position where I have a bit of everything,
Yeah.
and I get up and I love what I do. I get hugely excited. I particularly like the people that have got a specific time frame or an event, or they've had, they've got quite complex injuries, and but I get tired like everybody does, but I have regular breaks. But I don't ever feel, oh God, I've got to go into work again in the evening, which is very fortunate.
Yeah, it's a nice thing about this industry, I think.
Yeah,
you tend not to
definitely.
feel that way. I
No.
don't feel that way. It's lovely. So tell me a little bit about your time at Swindon. So as a female going into the sport, how was that for you?
Well, it was different, because I've worked under quite a few different managers. So I was at Swindon Supermarine, and through my work at Swindon Supermarine, I was at Supermarine for about 4 years. Had an amazing 4 years, just amazing people. The team we just had some right laughs. And then through the back of that, was asked to do a game at the youth team, and during the youth team game, we had a fracture. It was actually a suspected fracture of I think a player was, or a big injury of a player now that's still playing professionally.
Oh wow.
And the guy liked how I managed it, so I was given the youth team job, and then went in the youth team, and then sort of worked with the academy, and then just kind of hung around, and I was really thirsty to kind of work for stuff. I've still got letters that I used to write Swindon Town when I was 13. Can I go for work experience?
Amazing.
Used to get cut down all the time.
Yeah.
And then, so I used to kind of be really thirsty about wanting to come in and be around people. And used to watch Dick Mackey, really lovely guy, and can I come and watch? Can I get involved? And it was just slowly being around the club more and more. And then there was an injury to a player who I kind of ended up managing quite all right, and I think that impressed or some of the people quite liked what I was doing. So I was asked to go on tour, pre-season tour with Dan Wilson, and so went away with the squad, and then.
It's a good time to get involved with the club when he was there.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He really was, and it was just great. And then the job came up, and I ended up going for it. And at the time, I just got a position. I'd only been at the University of Gloucestershire for 2 years, so I'd gone from there from London Met to Gloucester, and heading up a new programme over there. And when the job offer came through for Swindon, it was a pay cut, but there was no argument really. But I was like, I don't ever want to have what ifs. I want to have a lot of oh dear, oops.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of oops in my life, but I don't have many what ifs. And so I gave the job up, and I remember going to my boss and I said, it's nothing about the university. I said, but I've got to do this, and then had great time with the first team. I can't. It's game day. Oh my God, everything's worth game day.
Yeah.
The away game's the best, because we used to go up and we used to have this fitness coach, David Morrison, and we used to get on really well with Webby, one of the masseurs, and Steve, one of the masseurs. We used to have such a laugh, and you used to go up, and then there used to be the bus driver, and sorry, I'm not allowed to call him a bus driver. Coach driver, not bus driver.
Okay.
And
Politics.
yeah, he used to get really cross, not bus driver. And we used to go up, and then in the morning you'd get up for pre-match, and you'd prepare breakfast, and all of the backroom staff would get up really early, and then we'd have the pre-match, and then we'd go down, breakfast, and then go down to the ground, and then that's when we used to set up for the game. So you'd get to see the ground, and it'd be early in the morning, about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, empty. And the first thing I would do is, after setting my bit, is go onto the ground, onto the pitch, and take a photo and send it through to my dad. Say, guess where I'm at today? And then you go and have pre-match, and it's just the whole buzz of the day, and just being around everything, and the atmosphere, and just the buzz. That's what I absolutely love. And some of the games that I've done have kind of that buzz.
You'd see it, I suppose. Yeah, you would have been there for playoff semi-finals and all that kind of stuff, would you not?
Unfortunately not. So that was, so the playoff stuff was Canny, well, within the league.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Anna Johnson's Paint?
That was...
Was that him as well?
Yeah, so that was
Right.
towards the end. So, yeah, when Canio came in, that was slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then kind of, so it didn't kind of go to that. So,
Yeah. Well, what's the sort of, what would you say is the best place you've been to do what you do? What's the best place you've done? It's got to be Old Trafford?
I've done two big games.
Yeah.
The first one, which is really weird, before the Old Trafford game, was when I graduated. My dad helped me write a letter to every single football club in all the divisions, including Scotland, asking for a job for anything, sending my CV off. And not a hope and chat. I was 21.
Yeah.
But I thought I might as well. So I got 3 letters back. One was from Bristol Ravers, asking me for a day of work experience, which I took up. And another was from another club, which is saying no, but they thank you. And then I got a phone call from Dundee. And it was really hard. I was in Asda at the time, and I got this phone call from Dundee. It's like, "Hi, Kate, I've got your CV. We don't have a physio at the moment. Would you like to come for an interview?" And I was just like, "Yeah, why not? Yeah, not a problem, right?" So I said, "I've got an interview for Dundee Football Club." And Scottish Premiership, and Ivano Benetti was their manager at the time. So I then got another phone call. "Kate, we kind of need you to this Saturday. We kind of need you to come up this." "Yeah, no, not a problem." Just thinking nothing of it. Then it was another phone call saying, "Well, we're in Downey. Can you do our game for us?" And I was like, "Yeah, not a problem." So I was thinking, I don't know where I'm going, but I just said yes anyway.
Why not?
And then I got another oops. And then I got another phone call, which was you've got a bag and stuff. We're the game. You need to fly to Glasgow. We're playing Celtic.
Wow.
At Celtic. And I was like, "Oh,
how's your first day?"
Yeah, no problem. So I remember, because I used to work with ice hockey at the time, we had a game on the, I think we had something going on a Friday. It was in the old days, and when Gareth Endicott and Wayne Fidders and, it was brilliant,
Yeah.
right? So, and I remember flying up and turning up at this hotel, where I was kind of thrown a tracksuit by the interpreter, Ivano Benetti, and put into this room where half was Spanish and Italian, and the other half was Scotland.
Yeah.
And I hadn't got a clue what was going on.
You can't understand anybody.
I'd only bought football boots the day before. I didn't have any. I had one of these black pair of Zoom Airs, right?
Yeah.
Nike Zoom Airs, whatever. And I remember going up to this ground, and Celtic's just formidable, and they just kind of throw things at, and we're going through, and I'm thinking, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. This is my first game football pitch side.
That's crazy.
And then we turned up at the ground, and it was when Martin O'Neill was manager, and I remember sat on the bench at this, it was 60,000 people, which just seems really weird. I think it did happen. And I'm thinking, please don't go down. And it was like 2 minutes towards the end, and the guy put his hand up, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go down, I have to run on. And I legged it across the pitch, and the guy was just knackered, he didn't even, there was nothing wrong with it, right? So I was basically going, all right, okay, that's it. As I walked off to the side of the pitch, and walked round, I was just abused. You should be in football, you should be in netball. And
oh, wow.
So I walked round, and then halfway round, the guy must have thought I was in the crowd, because he asked me to go and sit down, and I said, no. I said, I was sat on the bench. I said, I'm with Dundee. So I walked round to the side, and it was into the game. And then we went back to Dundee, and then they put me in this hotel, and they went, you stay here all week, you treat. And I was thinking, I rang Mum and Dad up, and I just went, no, I said, this is a bit too much above me. I said, I'm 21, I said, I'm a bit at my depth, great experience. And then flew back the following day, and they picked me up and took me to the Chelmsford Swinton ice hockey game where I was on the bench.
More comfortable, confined.
Yeah, I just wasn't ready. And then obviously later on I'm going to be a bit more ready to work in sport.
That's mad. That's absolutely mad. But I suppose, and I'm sorry I asked about as a female going, because it's got to be an uncomfortable thing at first if people aren't, you've got to be treating people And if they're used to just lads banter, it's completely different. Have you just got to blend into that? Do you have to step up to that?
Yeah, working with rugby has helped.
I bet.
Yeah, I've worked with several teams, and there's one team I've worked with for many, many years. Group of guys that I absolutely adore. But the banter, yeah, I can handle it. And I've seen most things and heard most things. So nothing embarrasses me anymore.
Yeah.
The times I've been in sport now, it doesn't make a difference. And most of the time is they almost go, sorry, Kate, I forgot you were there. You're just like one of the lads.
Yes.
And that's how I prefer to be. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, like a bunch of big brothers.
Yeah, it really is. And I actually really like it. I like the working in male sport. And this is nothing against female sport or anything, but what I like about it is that, well, you've annoyed me, or you've annoyed me, well, why have you annoyed me? And then you have it out, and then it's done, dusted.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, is that ability to just be quite open and honest. And yeah, you do have a laugh, and I tell you what, yeah, changing rooms are hilarious. They really are. They really are. I wouldn't want to tell many stories, but they're hilarious.
Do you know what, it's weird. I was listening to a podcast yesterday on American sport, and the NBA at the moment is in their playoffs, and it's a big deal. And the argument back and forth was whether like reporters and whatnot should go into locker rooms.
Yeah.
And it's like players get out of the shower and they're in a towel and they go out to their locker and it's surrounded by reporters trying to get quotes and whatever. And my thought, playing sport, that's the sanctuary. That's where you're supposed to be able to just relax and talk back and forth to your teammates or whatever. So I'm with you on that. Like locker room stories, that should be locker room. It shouldn't be open forum. So it's American sports is completely different, I suppose, but it's interesting. One question off of that: how magic is the sponge? Because I've never known. It's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, it's meant to be. Do you know what? This shows my age, but when I first started, there was a bucket and sponge.
Yeah.
People, not me. I never had a bucket and sponge, but I've been at games when people had bucket and sponges. Yeah.
That's amazing. That was always the thing. Bloke runs on, magic sponge, and it's always
everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Leg break, magic sponge.
Multiple blood injuries. Magic sponge. Yeah, totally.
You must have seen some pretty horrendous things on the pitch.
I have seen some. I've had to deal with some horrible stuff. Yeah. Not. You get quite shaken up after them. I've seen kind of dislocations that don't relocate, so don't go back in, and the ones that really scare me are the lying on their front, not breathing, and suspected neck.
Yes.
I've had quite a few of those in rugby.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's it's Nathan was in recently, and he was telling me about. Did you know he had a head injury recently?
No.
So it's the second time at Portsmouth. So he had a concussion really early when he first joined there, where I think he went for a header, got almost undercut, and then landed on his head on the ground. It's surprising how hard a football pitch is, but that he was out for a couple of weeks there. But he had a head collision recently, and he had a couple of teeth cracked, and you couldn't see at all until, because it was he had his mouth closed. So he said to me, I was there and I didn't see anything. It looked like he sort of bumped heads and they were bringing him off because he was groggy. And I asked him afterwards, and he said, I knew it was pretty bad when the physio opened my mouth and went, oh. So he said, you never want to hear that from your physio. You only want to hear, everything's fine, everything's lovely, let's just get you off, as opposed to, oh. So he said it wasn't a great response. That made me start to panic a little bit. But yeah, so he was in yesterday talking about his time at Portsmouth and how well they're doing and that kind of thing. So you worked with him quite a bit at Swindon, did you not?
Yeah, I've known Nathan since he was 9.
I was going to say, you were probably in he was a youth team or whatever when you first. That's incredible.
Yeah, cracking lad.
He's a great boy.
Yeah, just a pure professional, a lovely family.
Yes.
And he is. He's a professional athlete. He's an absolute lovely, and I he's fantastic. He's doing so well. Yeah.
He said to me about being when he was at Swindon, and he said because I asked him, it sounds strange when you say, oh, we've got some of the younger players. Does that sound strange to you at this point in your career? And he said, kind of, but also not, because I was saying younger players when I was at Swindon at 24 or whatever. He's always been an elder statesman, he's always been a leader, and which is great. So and he speaks super highly of you, and he was like, you've got to get Kate in here for sure. So, and Luke said the same thing. So, so far, not disappointed, which is good. So, in terms of, I've moved on to Luke. In terms of your relationship with him, how frequently do you see him? What kind of role? Because we obviously work together, me and you, in terms of doing this program and whatnot. So, for those that don't know, Luke's got like a 4-person team, 5-person team. And there's sports science involved, there's 2 trainers involved, Kate for sports therapy, and then Paddy as a coach, a skill coach and manager. So tends to be, we call you mother hen of the group, what you say goes, but you tend to patch him up and send him back to us to do what we need to do. But what sort of, how would you characterise your role with him?
I suppose, how I see myself, so I do it with quite a few athletes, I'm the bit that sees, I should be the one that is not just blinkered by what I do, but I need to see the whole picture. So if I just go in there and just treat whatever might be sore or just do some regular maintenance work on him, then I might be missing something that he either we could be enhancing a little bit better, or maybe I should be doing my job better, or it's just from a communication point of view. So what I like to do is find out basically his whole schedule and oversee, or have a look at everything. And what I really enjoy with working with you guys is that everybody's got a really important role and we all work together. So it's not almost, we're not fighting with each other. It's a really nice team. And even when we sit there in meetings, as I say, with an athlete that you're working with, they shouldn't be worried about anything else apart from getting up and doing what they do. So all the background stuff, like what time should they meet, what time's their training, what should they be doing in their training, that shouldn't be anything to do with them. It's like when you go, and I used to work with athletes, and when we used to travel away, when I used to go away with England or with football, the lads shouldn't have anything to worry about, because that should be our jobs. It's not about us, it's the athletes.
Absolutely.
And so what I love about Luke is, one, he's an absolute joy to work with. He's such a great guy. It really, really is.
Very unique as well.
He's just wonderful. I could just cuddle him. And then he's just it's just his and then it's kind of looking what his strengths are. So I might screen him, and I might link that within some stuff that you guys have been doing, or sports science support have been doing, and then we and then you link with what Paddy, well, where does Paddy think that's lacking, and then we improve from there. So I could be doing just maintenance work with him, or something might come in that I have to flag to somebody else. And then that's important that we kind of regularly communicate, I think.
Yeah, that's always a tough bit, because obviously it's not a team fully employed by Luke, so it's a tough thing to kind of make sure that everyone's on the same page. And I see him twice a week, Steve sees him twice a week, so to be able to not overlap in your training, that's the biggest challenge for me, is doing that. So I can go, right, we're going to do this today, so I did that yesterday with Steve.
Exactly.
So not overlapping too much with things. But certainly he's incredible to work with, but there is challenges that we have to face based on whether it's just simply fatigue because he does so much, whether it's tiredness in terms of just physically, he might not mentally, it's monotonous. I think training camp at times, and people will see the Instagram posts and everything's throwing balls against the wall and it's super high octane, but it's not all that. So a lot of it is him just resting, just gathering himself before getting warmed up, whatever. But that's the biggest challenge, I think, for all of us, is the communication side, because we're all busy. But we were saying off air before we started that cannot get in the way of him. He's the most important thing here. And and the proof's in the pudding every time we step in the ring. We can do nothing. He's the most important thing in there. So it's but it's such a thrill to be there when he's fighting. It's such Like I still get super nervous for it, but it's such a thrill to be there.
Mm.
You've been to only one, right?
Yeah, I went to one. I think the other times, every time it always has something on, I
Yeah.
have to go away.
Yeah.
So I've got a conference tomorrow, but I'm coming back for the fight anyway. And yeah, it was. I get really nervous.
Yeah. I remember talking to you at the last one.
Yeah,
And-
really nervous.
Yeah. Just like, oh God, he looks huge. Like, that looks massive.
Yeah, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did. He was
Keep
just
it quiet.
Yeah, I mean, he was a big boy, wasn't he? You know,
Very,
it's just
very.
and the fact is that that's not any doubt on, you know, what Luke can do, but it's just like, oh God, because it just suddenly hits home.
Yes.
The physicality of it.
You don't really
going
see it on
into a ring.
TV either.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And you know, and I did a bit for charity just for a lot, and that is, and I just think I've hats down to these
Oh,
lads that go in a ring.
yeah. I wouldn't do it. Not a chance. No, like, even if it, like, people have said about the white collar thing, and I quite like, I did, for a while, I did a little bit of like jiu-jitsu, and I did a little bit of boxing on the pads, and you know, every time you do that, people go, oh, when you book in a white collar. Absolutely not. Like, there's no way. Like, I go in there, I do the corner for Danny when he does it, and it's not for me.
See, I did it.
Did you?
Yeah. But our group raised quite a few million for charity. I think I raised about 1,000, I think, or something. And I had 2 tables, and I did it because a friend of mine did it, and I just thought, oh, do you know what? Get out your comfort zone, Kate, every now and then. It's worthwhile.
Yeah.
And I like to learn different sports. I'm not good at any sport, but I like to learn different sports to work with different people.
Yeah.
Because once you understand more about the sport, it helps you understand how to get that person.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I did it, and I remember turning up, and I trained loads, and had some great people that helped me. And then about a month to my fight, I kept having this recurring dream that I was going to get knocked out, and I was just going to look like a right idiot. And it was a battle. I had no problems being hit.
Yeah.
Where I had the problem was hitting somebody.
Did you?
Yeah, massive hit. So I think the one next station, she was like, "Kate, you need to go out for a beer." And I said, "Right then." So I went out for a beer, and then after that, it was just, a bit of a breather. And then the night of the fight, I had tables, and then a load of my rugby lads came and watched. And I remember coming out to one of my favourite songs, which is Linkin Park, Jay-Z, the Numb song. And then I stood in the middle of the ring, and she delayed. And that morning, one of the girls said, "Yeah, you know, she really wants to win." And I think, oh my God, I'm going to get knocked out in front of all my friends.
Let's remember this is charity.
Yes, but please. Because there had been people knocked out.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out, and then she came out to smack my up.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm thinking, oh God, right. And as soon as the fight happened, all my friends were shouting, and then I won.
Yeah.
And I came out, and it was the biggest thrill because well, I'm not very aggressive anyway, but it was just to see whether mentality-wise I could do it. And the next morning I woke up like I'd done 6 rounds with my, I was so battered.
Yeah.
I had a bruise on my chest, I had a little bruise on my face, and yeah.
So, how did it feel when the bell goes? Did you flip a little bit? Did you start to, or were you still a little tentative? Was it still very much sort of softly, or did you?
I should have knocked her out, really.
Yeah.
There was a couple of times I should have done. I don't know. I was nervous. I did lose it in the second round, and then I got an absolute rollicking. And then it was kind of went back in, and then it was just people shouting.
Yeah.
It was like Cady, which was really cool.
Love that.
But it was just nice to do something to see out of your comfort zone how you could be, but also to know what it's like from a. I mean, I'd only been doing it for a couple of months, but from a stance point of view, where the power's meant to come from, I wouldn't have got.
That helps you with what you're trying to test on Luke now, I guess, as well. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, if that hip's not working as it should work, or whatever, then that's just going to impede power production, all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
It's it fascinates me knowing like Nathan and Luke like I do, and Craig. Do you know Craig? Craig is an MMA fighter. He's a pro MMA fighter, and he works with me as well.
Yeah.
And they're all such nice lads.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously Nathan plays football. It's different. It's not a fight sport. However, him on the pitch is completely different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it's amazing how they can come off the pitch and be nicey, and you would never. I wouldn't say that Craig or Luke were fighters. Like if I just met them,
Yeah.
like yeah, I know them, so I know that's what they do. But it seems so chilled out. Maybe they get rid of all that aggression. They don't have that in them because they go to the gym and they work it out. So I don't know, but it's they're such nice lads, all three of them. Yeah, on the field of play, it's completely different, isn't it? So.
Well, yeah, it's the same with rugby. I suppose with the rugby lads that have it, they play for rugby to get rid of some aggression.
Yeah.
And I trust all of them absolutely completely, but on the rugby pitch, oh my god. Yes.
Yeah.
We've seen a few things.
Absolutely. So I can do this podcast and not ask you about the Old Trafford it's UNICEF game, wasn't it?
Yeah. UNICEF.
How did that come about?
So you get to know various people, and I went through some work with Supermarine, and I got to know Dave Slattery and then Steve, and then
Yeah.
I got a phone call. It was I remember it as clear as day because it was 5:30, and I was sat with Stace, and I got this phone call through from Steve. And I've always been one of those people that's if somebody asks you something, would you mind? I say yes, and then you ask, and then you figure out what it is afterwards.
Yeah,
Because it's just no point. You don't base it on. You just go, yeah, brilliant. So I remember this phone call. Hi, Kate. Oh, hiya, how are you? And and would you mind helping me out at a game? And I just went, yeah, not a problem. And I said, when's this game going to be? And he said, 15th of November. And I got hold of my diary there and then. I was scrolling out pages, and I was like, yeah, I'm there. And I said, oh, where is it? And then he went, Old Trafford. And I was like, oh, okay. And Stacey's there going, what's going on? And then and he said to me, yeah, because I'd like you to look after the rest of the world, Carlo Ancelotti and Zinedine Zidane. But that's the point. I just went, oh, right, okay. And he said, yeah, it's the David Beckham UNICEF game. And I was like, great. And he said, right, okay, well, we've got loads of us to sort out, so we'll be in touch, and put the phone down. And I just went, I didn't even know whether it just happened. And when I'd always wanted to work for Sunderland Town.
Yeah.
And then everything else I've done in my career, and I've been very lucky to have been and worked with some amazing people. And when somebody says that, and I remember ringing my dad, and he said, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you going to tell me? I said, I've just been asked to work with Zinedine. And to me, like Zinedine, oh my God, Zinedine. And I just went, all right, okay. So I went into work, and I told the girls a couple of the girls from work, and they were just, and I said, wow, yes, I think so. And then I got another phone call, said, don't get to in your boots, Kate, in a bag. Sort of not a problem. So, and he said, oh, have you sorted out somewhere to stay? I said, yeah. I said, I didn't want to come up the next day, so I just booked myself a hotel. So I got told to meet at this hotel. And I remember walking through this hotel door, and there was a lady sat in the thing, and she said, can I help you? I said, yeah. I said, okay, Cady. I said, I'm here to look after the rest of the world. Such an idiot. And she was like,
Mother Teresa moment.
She was like, all right. And I said, she was going to take a seat. So as I sat down, I'm like texting my mum and dad, and I'm so nervous. And next minute, Nicky Butt just walks through the door.
Yeah.
And then Peligi, and I'm just saying, I think I've just seen Peligi just walk up the stairs. So it sat there, and then they said, oh, Kate, can you go on up? And I went into the breakfast room and just started walking past all these famous faces, and there was comedians sat, they were all in this massive hotel, this 5-star hotel. Sat down for lunch in front of Alan Smith, who used to play for Leeds.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, how are you? I sat down and had breakfast. And then we got taken to this room where I met the Sheffield Wednesday physio, a really nice guy, and then the Sheffield Wednesday doctor, we just and then I got given this bag, this branded kit, and I was like, I'll put it all on, that's not really exciting. And then one of the guys came in and goes, oh yeah, I've just got to go and sort David out, and Victoria was walking down the stairs, and I'm thinking, yeah, why in this place?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and then I was like, whoa, and then so we got into this van. So I said, right, and I knew the list, so I knew who I was going to see, and obviously we didn't see Zidane because of the Paris attack.
Yeah.
So I turned up at Old Trafford, and since I was at 11, I'd been a Man United fan, and I had been because when I was 11, you just picked that sort of team and followed them through, and I loved Ryan Giggs. And the 92-93 kind of era of the football, that was amazing,
Yeah.
just brilliant. So we turn up, and I go into the room, and I just thought, okay, you're at work, just get on with it. So I started setting up. But of course you're wandering around and you're like, Ronaldinho shirts there.
Oh.
And then we've got Zidane's boots, like he's got these boots, everything. And then I go into a little room, they take me to a little room, and I've got like all the kit stacked up for me like they used to do for all the players. So we go in there and then there's all these, like all the kit, and I had, had a look and this, that and the other. And then they said, right, we're going to go back for pre-match, you coming, Kate? And I was like, you don't get to often spend a day at Old Trafford, do you mind if I stay?
Yeah.
I said, I don't need to have pre-match, I'll stay.
Yeah.
So I stayed with the kit men who used to work with, who'd been there for years, Ferguson and stuff. And the guy, one of the security guys, took me all around, and I sat in Alex Ferguson's seat and just had a wander around in all the ballrooms and stuff. And then I had hot dogs with the kit men.
Amazing.
Yeah, just because I was like, oh, well, why would I not spend a day here?
Yeah.
It was just like brilliant. And then it was really weird. So the first team came in, Great Britain and Ireland came in first, and of course the first menu was Beckham. So we're going around, and I'm going around the front, and he just walks through, and I'm thinking, oh, it's David Beckham. So he walks in, and the next minute is star after star. So I then walk back to my changing room, and Dave Beckham walks past, and he shakes my hand and goes, "You all right?" And I went, "Yeah, fine." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Right, so then it's about 1 o'clock, and they all started coming in, and I was working with one of the Man United masseurs, and he said, "Are you all right, Kate?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Come on, Kate, it's just work. All these they're just people, because they are just people."
Yeah.
And I went, "Get back, this is silly." So basically, what I did was, I thought, I'm looking after him, this is what I'm here for, I've got to run pitch side, I've got to treat if I need to. So I went around every single player introducing myself, so I was just like, "Hello, Van der Sar, how are you? My name's David. Hello, Ronaldinho." And Ronaldinho can't really speak much English anyway, you just come like this.
Best smile in the
Yeah,
world.
oh,
Is
total legend.
yes.
And I went round, and then Louis Figo, FIFA World Player of the Year, part of Real Madrid, Galacticos, kind of whoa. And then I just thought, oh, they're probably not going to ask me for anything.
Are you praying for an injury?
Well, just touched one of them.
Yeah.
So I introduced myself to all of them, and then Angelotti reads out the game, and I introduced myself to him. And then suddenly they ask me for stuff. And Figo goes to me and goes, "Kit, can you take my ankles?" And I'm like, it's like worth a million. And so take his ankles, and it's just great. And then this is most, because this is probably a Cadyism, because I do lots of these. But I walk out, and the fitness, we were walking out ready to go to the tunnel, and the doctor, one of the fitness coach is Dr. I can't remember his name now, but he is like kind of been at Man United for ages. He's published a few papers. He kind of knows his stuff, a bit like fitness coach. So I see him, I turn around and go, "Oh God, how are you? I've been really excited to meet you." Didn't even realise he was stood next to Alex Ferguson.
Oh my God.
So I completely blanked Sir Alex.
Yeah, could you give us a minute?
Yeah, to talk to this fitness guy. And then Sir Alex goes, he goes, "Oh yeah, I didn't realise this, in the presence of such a legend." And I went, "Oh, sorry, Sir Alex, really great to meet you." I was thinking, "Oh, yeah, nice one, Kate."
Yeah.
And then I do another one where we go out, and Bocciatelli is singing.
Yeah.
Stand right in front of Bocciatelli until I get.
Oh my God.
Kate,
Could you be out of the way?
I'm thinking, oh dear, because I was so, but it was good. Then they sat on the bench, and then did have to run out.
Who for?
It was Louis Figo.
Was it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and
Was it a bad tape job? Was it? Or?
No, it was a bit of a knot, but it was brilliant. And then as we went in, we stayed around, and I had loads of photos. So I've got photos taken with everybody, and I had my photos taken with Beckham. And then I bought a Real Madrid shirt that I got Beckham and Figo to sign, which is not friends, so I've got that. Yeah. And then afterwards it was like, "Kate, you come in for dinner?" And I was thinking, "Yeah, okay." So we went for dinner, so I had dinner with them. And then I was invited to the after party. So I went to the after party.
Wow.
Yeah, which was interesting. So, there was quite a lot. But to me, I just sat, sat with a couple of friends, we were sat in a booth and we just watched, and we were just so busy having a chat.
Just taking it in.
Yeah, I'm just not, would be comfortable to go in and speak to them and stuff, and it's their night. And
yeah, of course. And they probably don't get a lot of chance to actually see each other in that capacity anymore.
Yeah.
So most of them play together at some point, but don't really get a chance now, I guess. Do you know what, one thing with Beckham, I met Beckham.
Yeah.
It was 10, 12 years ago, at a football writers' dinner, and it's the only time as an adult that I ever remember being like shook. I was like, "That's Beckham," and he wandered past, and I couldn't quite understand. I was there to see him for this dinner,
Yeah.
and yet I couldn't quite fathom that he was there. It was really a strange feeling, but he's lovely.
Yeah, he
He's
is, yeah.
really, and I think he understands his stature,
Yeah.
so he knows that you're probably never going to get to see him again. So he will take the time to sign an autograph or whatever, my photos or whatever it might be. What an unreal experience that must have been for you.
Oh, it was brilliant. He did. He thanked me. He thanked me for helping out. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But I sort of, it's, in a way, do you know what was more? I was also really excited by meeting Ronaldinho.
Yes.
His feet are just.
Are they a mess?
No, it's just the fact that he can just his feet playing football.
Yeah.
Are just,
Oh, he's a wizard.
Yeah, and he was. I've got a really good photo of me sat between him and Patrick Kluivert,
Oh wow.
who I also
Yeah.
thought was wonderful.
Yeah.
And then, Oliver Solskjaer.
Yeah.
I say it wrong, but he's 6'1" right
Is he?
now. Yes, I know. So get this. This is what I do. I'm treating, and come to the change room. He comes up and he asks me something, and I said to him, I said, I didn't realise you were this tall person. I said, you only look about 5'8" on the telly.
Oh, God.
And he said to me, he goes, yeah, everybody says that to me. Yeah, he's about 6'1".
I never would have said that.
No, babyface assassin.
Yeah.
But tall.
There you go.
Yeah, and then I tell him.
Yeah. Just let him know, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, so I tell him. Yeah.
But Ronaldinho, though, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters what club you follow. Everybody loves him.
Yeah.
Like, and he's always been the same way. Whether it's just the fact that he genuinely seems to enjoy playing, and I think he still plays now. He's
Yeah, I think he does.
somewhere.
Yeah, I think quite a few of it. I mean, when I go into change rooms, it's not like I'm looking at. You just, I've been in so many change rooms that you just get used to, kind of, just doing your job. You're not there to. But some of them are in incredible shape.
Are they?
Yeah, like incredible shape. And so they look after themselves. And do you know what was nice is they didn't seem bothered about me being there. There was no issues with me. I can go in changing rooms and kind of clear things up and spend a lot of time looking at the floor.
Yeah.
I'm quite
You're
used
probably
to
more
it.
embarrassed than they are, I would have thought, at this
Yeah.
point. They've seen so many people wandering in and out. Did Henri play in that game?
No.
I think he could still play now. He looks like he could still play now.
Yeah,
He's still
good
in great
as well.
shape, yeah.
Some of them aren't.
Are they not?
No, some of them are. I think I saw Andy Cole, but I think he's had the history of stuff.
Oh, right.
But I'll tell you what I did think was somebody Francis that used to play for QPR. I've forgotten his name. But he used to be back in those sort of days. He was a great player. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name, but he was a good player as well.
Yeah.
I told him that, I think.
No one's ever going to get tired of you telling them they were a great player. Like, never. and you said about Colino, right, the goalkeeper, ref.
Yes.
And again, everybody loves him too. And I was
Great ref.
buzzing that he was reffing that. Because I think he got to a point where they said, you can't ref anymore because you're too old.
Yeah, great ref.
So you get past a certain age.